Hello guys, welcome back to 91.1 WRMU. I'm here with Maria Ellesin, Liam Fallon, and Kenzie Grice. I'm Nate Goralski. We have a lot to talk about today. It's a big week in the NFL. Week 7 has a lot of major matchups, and we'll have some advice on your fantasy lineups coming up later.
Yeah, all right, guys. Week 7, big games this week. What do we think?
I mean, we got Cincinnati versus Kansas City, New England and Chicago, Houston and Jacksonville, all are big games this week.
I'm thinking that one of the biggest games is the possibility of Chicago beating New England. Khalil Mack has been torturing opposing offenses, and the mobile Tom Brady could be in trouble. The Thunder and Lightning running back duo of George Howard and Tariq Cohen have been productive coming out of the backfield.
And New England's secondary has been brutal this season. Look for Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel for big games.
I don't know, Kenzie. Brady's not acting like the 41-year-old he really is. Last week, he had a uncharacteristic rushing touchdown of more than 1 yard. It was a 4-yard rushing touchdown. And with Edwards coming back from suspension and recently acquiring former Brown Josh Gordon, he has a lot of targets to get the ball to. On top of that, the Patriots have seemed to find their groove in the run game through their new rookie draft pick from Georgia, Sony Michel. It could open up the pass game as if Brady needs some more help. Michel and James White is probably the only running back duo in which I'd be confident starting both in fantasy football because of how well Tom Brady spreads the ball.
I mean, looking at all these matchups this week, everyone's going to be super intense. Houston, Jacksonville, I mean, that's going to be one tough game. Both are ranked tied for first in the AFC South.
I agree. It's really going to be a defensive battle. Both teams come in the top 10 in yards per game allowed. Even this early in the year, it'll have huge impact on who we'll see in the playoffs. With Jacksonville coming off a 40-7 loss to the Cowboys, I see them coming back and winning this one at home.
DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey are set to square off this week in the divisional game in Week 7. Both are trash talkers and Pro Bowlers. Last year, the two players matched up in 2 games, and Hopkins combined for 11 catches, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That being said, the matchup is fairly even. Neither players are known for their speed. They are both players who use their size and physicality, so this matchup could get chippy.
The trash talking between the two hit social media a few years ago when Jalen Ramsey put up a picture of himself knocking out Texans DeAndre Hopkins. The caption said, "I go hunting, put heads on my fireplace, oh my, #blessed." Hopkins then commented on the post, "Third pick on your IG of me? My dude, the obsession is real, yikes." The tension is thick between the two star players, but it should make for an interesting and physical matchup for the fans.
Wow, I'm really excited about that one. It should be
It should be a really good
awesome
one.
matchup right there. But really, the game of the week, Cincinnati at Kansas City. This game was flexed to the primetime spot because it's such a marquee matchup. Each team comes into the game leading their division. Kansas City on top of the AFC West at 5-1, Cincinnati on top of the AFC North at 4-2. Both teams last week heartbreaking losses. Kansas City lost on a field goal to New England, and then Antonio Brown had that amazing touchdown catch to beat Cincinnati.
I think either one of that team could have won the game depending on who was last between Kansas City and New England.
Oh yeah, it was back and forth. I think those 4 teams could be in the AFC
It
Championship.
was just a
really.
shootout. I think if whoever had the ball last would have ended up winning, and that
Yeah.
was New England in that case.
Definitely agree with that. So let's start with Kansas City. Their offense is arguably the best in the league right now. Well, they have the most points scored in the league, 215. That's a ton
It's a pretty good
for
stat.
6 weeks. That's ridiculous. They have weapons all over the field, and that starts with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. This is his first year starting, and he has 18 touchdowns through 6 weeks, and that leads the league, even over Tom Brady, Big Ben, Jared Goff, and all those.
For a first-year player, too.
I know. But I think what really makes Mahomes so dangerous is that his ability to extend plays through his legs. He can run, he can pass, and then even on the move, his accuracy is just intense.
Well, who's Mahomes throwing to?
He's got elite playmakers like wide receiver Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. The ridiculously fast Hill comes in 4th in receiving yards with 567 and tied in the league with 6 touchdowns. So he's got that weapon. And then he's got his tight end.
Isn't Travis Kelce number 2 in receiving yards for tight ends this year?
That he is. With 468, 260-pound frame, this could be a power forward in the NBA. He's huge. He's a desirable target for Patrick Mahomes.
Ohio native, too.
He is an Ohio native, yes. Not to mention Kareem Hunt out of the backfield. He's started off slow, but he's starting to pick it up as of late. So he's going to be good if you can get him going. Kansas City defense, that's been the problem. They have allowed the most yards per game through the whole NFL this season.
As over 7 in the New England game last
2,000 yards through 6 weeks. That's a lot of yards given up. But if Eric Berry can come back off of his heel injury, which he's been battling for years now, that could solidify that secondary and help them get a win.
I mean, Cincinnati comes in with very high scoring offense as well. Scoring 29 points per game, that ranks them 6th in the league in that category. The Bengals have done most of their damage through the air and with star wideout AJ Green.
I mean, 494 yards and 5 touchdowns is absolutely dominating opposing quarterbacks.
Don't forget about Tyler Boyd. Gotta give him some love, man. 455 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he actually leads the Bengals in receptions over AJ Green. After a disappointing rookie year, running back Joe Mixon is back on the map, I believe, this year. Even while missing a couple of games with that knee injury, he has missed no time.
Gio Bernard's out with an injury too, so that he has all of his carries back.
Yes, with Bernard out, Mixon's really getting a chance to prove himself in the league. Now, Cincinnati's defense, struggling as well. They're 30th in yards allowed this season.
It's definitely going to be an offensive showdown.
Yeah, no defense in this game. So if you're an offensive fan, this is one you're going to want to tune into. All right, what are we predicting for this one? Liam, you're up first.
I'm going with the high-powered offense in Kansas City. The Rams are just too high right now. All those targets and everything. It's going to be hard to beat.
All right, Kenzie, what do you think?
I'm going with the Chiefs as well.
Maria?
I actually like the underdogs in this one, so I'm
Okay.
gonna have to go with the Bengals.
Interesting pick there, Maria. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. It's a night game at Arrowhead Stadium. Very tough environment to play in. And like you said, Mahomes is just on it right now. He's going to be throwing dimes all over the place. So I got the Chiefs over the Bengals. Apologize for that one, Maria. It's going to be.
All right, well, now let's take a couple of calls from fans and see what questions they have for their team this weekend.
We have a caller, Nick, inquiring about teams. Go ahead.
So, what are your opinions on the Cleveland Tampa Bay game this week?
I'll take this one, guys. So, I think this game is going to be determined between, like, the key matchup is the Browns receivers versus Tampa Bay's corners. Both are very bad at the moment. The Browns are just the Browns trading away Josh Gordon, and then immediately after that, they lose 2 receivers to injuries in Rashard Higgins and Willies. So, it's all up to Jarvis Landry and, like, the backup for the Browns receivers. They just picked up Rashard Perriman from Baltimore. So it's all going to be seeing how well they do with the terrible Tampa Bay secondary as well. And we got to see if Baker can make a comeback after that poor performance against San Diego. So look for the receivers versus cornerback matchup for Cleveland and Tampa Bay.
All right, thank you, Liam. Well, another question from Alec. Alec, what's your question?
I was wondering about the New Orleans at Baltimore game.
All right, we have a high-powered offense in New Orleans with Drew Brees and the best defense in the league, with Baltimore only allowing 12 points per game. So in Baltimore, 4 o'clock start, I'm thinking Baltimore's going to win. Defense wins championships, and New Orleans secondary has been atrocious this year. And Baltimore has a sneaky good wide receiver core. That's why I'm looking for Joe Flacco to get the win there.
Okay, guys, what I'm really thinking our listeners want to hear is their boldness. I mean, there's a lot at stake this week in terms of fantasy, so who are we thinking should start and sit?
Well, let's first take a look at the quarterback position. With a lot of start caliber players on a bye this week, it's time to scout the waiver wire for some underrated talent. Personally, I'm liking Baltimore quarterback Joe Flacco, who is available in around 78% of leagues, and Cincinnati quarterback Andy Dalton, who is available in around 30% of leagues.
I agree with the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. He is facing a Kansas City defense who is ranked 5th easiest opponent in fantasy. He has done a great job spreading the ball around to many targets, including his favorite receiver, AJ Green, as well as up-and-comer Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Joe Flacco takes on a Saints defense that ranks as number 29th pass coverage unit. He has a sneaky good receiving core, as Nate said earlier, including the playmaker of Michael Crabtree, the speedster John Brown, and reliable wide receiver Willie Snead IV.
Although this week I'm not loving Houston quarterback Deshaun Watson. Watson's coming off a brutal performance against the Bills last week, and upcoming contest against the Jaguars is anything but favorable.
In fact, their defense has allowed just one quarterback to score more than 16.5 fantasy points at home since the start of last season.
That's actually insane.
Jalen Ramsey and the boys have been locking it up.
Those are some great tips for people with players like Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, and Russell Wilson on a bye this week. But as for position players, I'm liking my hometown hero Jarvis Landry against Tampa Bay. I mean, mean, as biased as that sounds, it's a great matchup. No team has allowed more catches, yards, and points per reception points to Henry slot receivers, so Landry should put up a solid stat line. However, for all you Deion Lewis owners, the Tennessee running back, this is not the week to have him in the lineup. It has been a huge disappointment thus far, and this week will be much the same. He's playing against the Chargers, who have given up just one top 25 fantasy performance to a running back this season.
Those were great points all around, but I believe we are out of time. Catch us here next week to preview what's going around the league for Week 8. You're listening to 91.1 WR, Voice of the Purple Raiders.